Hi Kiwi, and welcome back to a new episode of Memories of Old. We are going to continue to explore this world and hopefully find secrets and explanations for what has happened in the past, as well as potentially save it from the oncoming void. But for now, I think we take a elevator into this next, let's call it a temple, I guess, because that's basically what it is. We'll find our relic of the old world and hopefully gain access to the Tower of the Divine, or the Creator. I'm going to assume that is what's going to be the net result of our actions in this world, but we will see. We will certainly see. And I'm going to keep rambling a bit more about bending. I think, as far as the show goes, by far the most interesting bending style, I think, to me, is water bending, because of how versatile it is between the water, the ice, the way those things can synergize, potentially being able to control steam, and certainly control blood. Like, blood bending as a whole is just a terrifying idea. Based on how it works, I think it's less likely that you are controlling blood itself, and more so you're controlling intracellular fluid. Let's see. How's the Western Monument coming along? I couldn't tell you, my friend. I assume it got finished, considering we have interacted with it a few times now. But because if you gain control of someone's body by like directing the flow of water through their bloodstream against their will, you would kill them in an instant. If blood flow was immediately reversed or switched or held still, blood deoxygenates extremely quickly. And I mean, just backing up that flow, you would heck up the kidneys, you would heck up the heart, and certainly the brain. I can't look at that power and not be like, suspension of disbelief with some degree of medical knowledge from working through like animal science field type things. It just seems like an incredibly lethal power. All right, we're gonna go all the way down here, and this will probably turn on a bunch of gears if I had to guess. Let's see what happens. What happens here? This is vaguely reminiscent of Journey's like indoor tower that like slowly fills with effectively water, but I wouldn't call it water necessarily, as you like escape from the bottom upwards. It certainly has some vibes to that effect. All right. So interesting that we're getting to a more technological looking world. Looks like we'll have 3 seals to activate to get into this secret chamber in the ground, so I imagine there's going to be a lot of climbing. Was there something secret over here? Looks like there are places to go all over the place, so we'll just choose a direction and commit to it. What are you? Some kind of hourglass light device? Interesting. Okay. I have a feeling a lot of the magic of this world is just written off as due to the influences of the spirits, which isn't necessarily a bad option. It just feels a little bit weak from a narrative standpoint, but maybe with the world building that we are soon to see, it'll improve a bit. Okay, so that's the first of 3 seals, presumably. I might, if the previous episode had anything to prove, or I guess it was episode 2, that the door that I was like, wait, I thought I got all the seals. There were 5 seals. I just didn't notice that there was one on top of the door, and was very confused for a moment. But I don't know. I really appreciate that all the forms of bending had some sort of like side element built off of them, where air technically has vacuum, I guess I would call it. The elevator isn't working again. Who keeps turning off the main switch? I don't know, but I'm working on fixing it, my good sir. And obviously fire bending had lightning bending, and earth has metal, and water has ice, I suppose, and technically steam, and then earth also had like dust bending or sand bending, I guess. Like, it was really cool to see how, like, depending on where these cultures developed with their bending powers, they adapted to their environment. The dust benders kind of riding the sand, or the sand benders riding the sand with their sand glider type things, the airbenders with their own personal gliders. It's really cool how they created things that fit the universe. Let's see, is there, I think that lowered the gate. Yeah, this must be the front gate, so let's try this one first. There we go. Okay, now I can see. So it's just a straight either fully down or fully up sort of puzzle. Fair enough. The puzzles in this game so far haven't left much to the imagination. Oh no. There we go. Is this the last one? Yes, the other dreams are locked up in storage. Dreams? This looks like a scroll. So do they refer to like their history and their like literary arts as dreams? That's interesting. Oh, well, while I was getting distracted, it looks like these doors are on a time limit, so let's go ahead and drop this down again. They have to be fairly quick. I imagine I want to lower the front gate first, since if they're both going up at the same time, I can use them like stairs if I'm quick enough. Yeah, I bet if I had lowered the top gate, or the front gate first, I wouldn't have been able to access it like this. Cool enough. Oh, man, I almost fell. I don't know if I want to fall down just yet. Let's explore this room a little bit before I commit to jumping off of ledges. Also a good thing I have a lantern. Okay, it looks like we do have a fail-safe for if we do fall down there, so this must be separate from the previous room. I'm not sure, like I wasn't sure if this was one just tower that spirals up and around itself or not. Ooh, here's a potential bit of lore. Let's see what you've got to say here. Feast in honor of the only god Koroku. Forever is his reign, king of kings, and soon the ruler of the known world. So I guess Koroku is our, I'm gonna call him the what was it, the God King they referred to him in some of the other. It looks like he probably, if I had to guess, embodied the greed of mankind and led people down a inevitably capitalist, mechanized route. And I don't necessarily think that it's wrong to want things or strive to achieve them, but it's how you have to. There's a balance that needs to be struck between the world and the people around you. Should we remove these old scrolls before we start up the drill? Oh, so yeah, so basically what it looks like, if those scrolls are dreams, these people kind of destroyed their own culture out of greed, it seems, or at least their ancestors' culture, perhaps. I don't think I can easily get up there with the jump. It seems a little bit too high. I don't know if there's something over that way or if it's just... No, there's definitely something over that way, so there must be a way to get across that gap. Let's see. I can walk on this. I can walk on these pipes. There we go. Oh, it's another thing to notice. Like, it's a weird concept, I suppose, that I've thought about. Like, what is truly natural versus unnatural, and I think it's dependent on the eyes of people. Animals do use tools. Yes, they're primitive and don't require that much like processing to create, but when you think of it from that capacity, are the tools that animals use any less natural than the things we as people create? Our artwork, our music, our machines, and things of that nature. Like, to a degree, someone could maybe argue that's some sort of coping to like defend the destructive things that our influence on the world have produced. And I think that is important to acknowledge, that the things that we produce can have catastrophic effects on our environment. Look, I'm not here to preach environmental conservation and things like that. Certainly I am. I think those are important things, and I'm not going to downplay the significance of them in the world. I just don't think this is the location to really go on that rant. But it is, if nothing else, it's a thought experiment. When you conceptualize the notion that creatures like humans created something and then use them in their environment, is that not natural to create and use things that you make? The dreams of people are calm again. I hope this whole ordeal with the king is nothing more than an old man worrying about nothing. I don't know. It's food for thought, and it's a train of thought that I might like to discuss with you at some point, Kiwi, because I think you can make arguments for both. There's an inherent beauty in the natural and in the base form of things as they are, but there's also an inherent beauty in the things that are created both by nature and by other animals than humans. Certainly by that concept, I mean beavers creating their dams, ants creating their hills, and termites their mounds, birds with their nests. Like they're certainly, if one's going to call it this, primitive relative to the capacity of what human creation what human creation can create. But I do think like animals are just as capable in some aspects to express themselves either by vocalizations and song or interactions with their environment and resources, and there's an inherent beauty in those, and sometimes I don't think they can ever quite reach the destructive capacity of what humans have achieved, but that doesn't mean, I don't know what that doesn't mean actually. One second, there we go. Where do I go from here? Oh, it looks like it's a straight just around the bend like this. Let's see, what do we activate here? I don't know. If I had a choice, I mean, I look at things from a pragmatic, long-term point of view, and in the short term, do I benefit from a lot of things that you could make the argument are on the scale of unnatural? Computers and technology and machines that bring me entertainment and joy, but at the cost of potentially causing harm to things around me. The amount of resources we consume for regular water and electricity and power to maintain the things that I take for granted in my life very often. Like, it's hard to, it's so easy to understate the amount of influence we have had on the world as a whole, and not always for the best. And would I be willing to give those things up if it meant the world would be a safer, happier, healthier world? And I think it's certainly an altruistic notion, but it's hard to really know if I had the ability to make that decision, would I make it? It's always like you can guess based on vibes and feelings in the moment, but would you be willing to give up everything you know and love to preserve something that I think is very important to preserve, but certainly hard to be willing to do so at the cost of everything you are familiar with and and giving up the lifestyle that you have gained comfort in?
When the Creator made the humans, the Keeper of Dreams came forward and stood guard. He saw the link between the Great Dreamer and eternity. Sometimes fear and nightmares were born into the world, and when snatched up by human thought, they turned into horrible realities. So he prepared powerful songs of time and peace, stories to lead the nightmares astray, and he trapped them in eternal scrolls and stored them away. Horrible stories never to come true, stored and forgotten in the halls of sleep. So basically, yeah, these scrolls are basically effectively stories, but dreams, and meant to imprison, I guess, the horrors that humanity or the people of this world had to potentially face. We found a fortune. There are multiple pockets of air below, loads more than we anticipated. Well, I guess air is maybe their some sort of resource. Oh, huh. I guess this is where we were before. All right, so we made it all the way back to this. Here, I think this isn't where we started, right? Or this isn't the entrance to the temple, right? Oh, please don't make me exit the temple and... Okay, good. I was pretty sure this wasn't the exit, because it's all the way up top, but... What did that activate, actually? I'm not sure. Maybe a path upwards. Let's head back upwards, because I think we just unlocked those doors, assuming we got all the seals unsealed. I don't know, Kiwi, this is actually something that I'd be interested to talk to you about, because I want to see what your perspective on it is. If you had the choice of preserving the world and making it overall a healthier in the long term, not necessarily for our generation, but for all generations to follow, would you give up the comforts that you've been afforded in life to do so? I think at the end of the day, my inclination is yes, but it is definitely hard to let go of the things that I have found my comforts in. There is certainly a pleasant notion of living off the grid, but I don't think I could do it very easily. I think I could learn to do it, but it would take a lot of effort, and it wouldn't be an easy process by any metric of the imagination. Doesn't mean it isn't worth it, though. I don't know, but I am one person speaking on this topic. Certainly, I am looking at it in a vacuum. That decision is not one to be taken lightly when it affects so many other people and their lifestyles as well. But I don't know. There's a lot to think of in this situation. I think this was our entrance, so let's not go this way. Or I'm vaguely lost. Oh, here we go. Okay, it was just all the way at the very bottom of the drill. I think we have maybe unintentionally reactivated this part of the drill and pumping system, so maybe we'll find out what this air is. I'm curious to see what it is. It seems like probably the mana system of this world, or the magic system, maybe these blue particles that keep speckling out of this region, but it looks like we are about to encounter our next god of the temples. So I think I'm actually not sure what to expect from this, but let's go ahead and see. I'm sure they will reveal themselves. Giant comets. This is a cool aesthetic. Oh, is this I think this is the Temple of the Creator, actually. Well, let's see what it does. So, the time has come
Finally. Then this marks the time for the Keeper of Dreams to wake from this daydream and to resign. How could I protect your people from the nightmares that lurked within their dreams as you ceased to believe in me?
So is the Keeper of Dreams just a giant tower with a, like, glowing slit? It seems like that's the case.
I doubt you will be—
Oh. Interesting. So the Keeper of Dreams is just a giant scroll. I like that. That's very different from many things I have seen as like a representation of dreams.
I doubt you will be able to overcome the shadow that lurks in your world. Little human, there is a shadow in every human as well. A shadow called emptiness that can't be filled with power nor possessions. Shallow minds led way for the void to come into existence.
Excuse me. I drank way too much coffee, and yet I still sound as tired as I do. Not a good sign.
Shallow minds led way for the void to come into existence, eating everything away. The Creator had to sacrifice himself to lock away the ravenous void, and the lands and skies were shattered in the Great Divide. Heed my word, little human. Will you be able to find the last fragment before the void does? For myself, I claim the deep sleep and leave my concerns to you. I am free.
Goodbye, Robin Williams genie. Robin Williams genie. Thank you for your fragment piece, I suppose. Alright. I would have liked it if they had animated that as like kind of like rolling up together. And it just falls to the ground, I guess. I wonder if there's like a remnant of some sort of god in all of these floating isles, perhaps. Or is it whatever this air substance that the king was trying to harvest being the thing that kind of powers their ability to fly? Looks like we're going to see our next glimpse into the void. Of course it is the danger triangle. It is always the danger triangle, Kiwi. Kiwi, if you've taught me one thing, it's that triangles are dangerous, or at least their enthusiasts are, and Kiwi, you are definitely a triangle enthusiast. So yeah, okay. I didn't really get to realize it before it was too late last time. Can I... What happens if okay, it's an invisible. I was like, can I jump over this? I cannot. So let's go ahead and teleport outside of this. And we got another achievement that I can't read because it is off the screen for the sake of being in window mode. Oh, hum. I don't want to do full screen capture because that'll be a problem anytime I have to tab out to check the recording software. Or if I don't want to have any like anything else other than the game showing on my capture with intent or by accident, because what if I forget to switch this off in a future recording and I reveal something nefarious on my desktop, like the fact that I have a Sucker for Love or some random visual novel, which actually I don't think I have any visual novels on this computer now that I think about it. I'm not really like I don't want to say I'm not into visual novels, but the ones that I have enjoyed are like few and far between. Steins Gate certainly being the #1 example of that. Steins Gate was such a good experience.
Pack your things, sister. The rumors are true. We are leaving for the west. The priestess will give us shelter.
So I wonder if the priestess Kara was just trying to shelter people from the God King, or the Void kind of claiming. It seems like the Void was released because of this greedy kingdom's machinations. I presume our next step is heading to the north. I probably don't need to go back to the settlement to find out where to go, but why don't we go there just to see what dialogue we've unlocked? I do kind of wish there was a fast travel system, but honestly, gliding through the air as quickly as we do is fairly satisfying. So why don't we just enjoy a nice little ride while I ramble a little bit more about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh wait, this looks like something. Hold on. Oh no! Oh no! 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 Ah! I need to learn how to bank better. Oh, well, I found a cliff. Whee! Okay. Well, I unlocked something for landing on this island. I couldn't tell you what it is, but we sure did find it, Kiwi. All right, let's see what this tablet says and get a little bit more of a lore dump before we... Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, man. If I press A while I'm falling off a ledge, I appear to just, like, instantly bird up. Okay. What have we got?
Home of the thousands, we built this shrine to stand beacon as home to the birds of these lands, much as birds did for us in the ancient days. They have been our friends since forever. They scouted the lands and settled in places of soil which could sustain us. When we were still the tribes in the wilds, we traveled with the birds as they moved. We trusted them to mark the moment of change. They taught us to be nomads and shaped us to what we became.
I genuinely do wonder if maybe they have some sort of like inspiration from the air nomads from Avatar, because I mean, certainly the yellow, orange, and red aesthetic is a minor homage if it isn't. Maybe I'm overreaching on that assumption, but I can't help but wonder. I think we had already looked at this island. Because we haven't like seen what's in this southern portion over here, I'm gonna take a brief detour and see if we find any more lore dumps over here. Again, I'll avoid landing on islands unless I absolutely see something worth checking out, but I think it's at least fair to see what's over here. Ruins of On. Alright, well, what's going on over here? Ha ha ha! Oh wow, an entire, like, kingdom area, it looks like. Full of deer. Maybe we can find some people who have things to say here. I'll take out the lantern and explore. I do imagine we're coming up towards the end of the episode. You guys... Oh, we're at the site of a war. I wonder if this was, like, the... Oh... Yeah, okay, I'm getting a sense of things. I suspect that the void is going to be represented by like mechanical creatures. This definitely has like a Fire Nation invading the air nomad kind of vibe to it, and I'm going to draw that parallel until I am proven otherwise, and I don't think I'm going to be wrong. Also, very much appreciate the deers lead us in here, because we found a little bit of lore thanks to them. All right, what have we got here? Let's see.
We will journey to the monastery in the northwest to place the scrolls in its safety. I trust that it's too far away for Kuroku's wrath and too poor to excite his greed. The spirit crane will lead us until the snow line, and then return home south with my letter to you. I hope he finds you well.
Cool. I do appreciate how they give this constant sense of the people are, at least the people that aren't being led by Kuroku, are people who are just at peace with the spirits.
They destroyed and burned houses and scrolls alike and would have burned us too had we not been able to escape. We watched from a safe distance, keeping close the few precious scrolls we had saved.
Now I wonder if these scrolls serve as more than just a sealing of the void.
To Gorion of the Storm Islands from his son Tazo. Father, it's with sorrow that I must tell you of the loss of the Snow Crane Library. The palace guard of the city of On came in the night, carrying weapons and shouting the name of their king Kuroku.
Nothing is one of the greatest tragedies of war that I think I've ever heard about is just the destruction of libraries and literary arts. Even if you don't agree with what's written in there, they are a representation of a culture and a thought and a people. Maybe a small portion of people, but nonetheless a people. And to destroy that culture, like to just spit in the face of history, is absolutely detestable, and it bothers me when people say that you shouldn't read something because it is potentially harmful. Like, I do think there are things that shouldn't outright be read if they could cause harm, I suppose, but that doesn't mean you should deny people the choice to read it. I think what you need to do is provide them with the understanding of why those things are harmful and set expectations for what they're going into, so that if they do have a bad outcome or a bad experience from what they read, they at least had enough knowledge going in to be prepared for the mistake they were going to make. I don't know, this sounds kind of weird and preachy. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't think any piece of art or literature should be destroyed. I think it should be analyzed and criticized, perhaps, for the messages it's trying to draw or create, but I don't think it should be outright destroyed. Because we may look at it one day and be like, that person was right, and certainly that can go both ways in regards to people getting the wrong messages from those pieces of media, but then you have examples like Galileo, who set the precedent for the heliocentric model, and so this guy says, the God King demands changes.
By royal decree of the God King Kuroku, King of Kings and God of Gods, all must bow to him, the only God. His and his alone are all the lands of the East and the land of gods. Bend the knee and be spared, resist and see the last of your days. Such is the will of the God King Kuroku now and forever, written in the 10th year of the Heron in his great city of On.
I don't like what's going on anymore, Kiwi. This seems like a bad place. I guess this is where the king will live, though. I guess that explains why they were talking about monuments to the east. But, I don't know, I think, like,
works that in the time seem corrupt or questioning the status quo. I don't think it's wrong to question things, but you have to question them from a point of logic rather than emotion, because if everything is an immediate emotional response, you give way to closing yourself off and from making informed decisions and analysis. And I think critical thinking is such a valuable skill that I think as time goes on, I'm losing that skill because I've just gotten into a rut and kind of accepted what I expect on a daily basis. And so that's why I think Greece was such a rewarding recording on this channel, because I actually did like pause and think really hard about what I wanted to say and what I saw and how it made me feel and how I thought it would make you feel and things like that. And I think that's why that was one of the most rewarding Let's Plays I've done on this channel, because I got to do something that I feel like for a very long time I just haven't been doing. All right, this looks potentially lore-y. Let's see, is there any... This looks like something, maybe. Oh, well. Goodbye, Earth. There's gotta be something here, right? All right, that little loop-de-loop we do sometimes is very satisfying to pull off. All right, do you guys have anything to say? Let's see. Hello? Trying to get on this rock. There we go. Why are you... I don't know what that guy is doing, but it looks like he's having a great time. I hope he's having a great time. And it's nothing more concerning than they all seem to... Oh no, you know what I think just happened? I think something must have exploded in the center of this island and they got rocketed off. I guess... Oh, here we are. There is nothing more we can do. The machine is an ancient waiting to happen. The machine is an accident waiting to happen. We got too greedy. I don't know what the machine necessarily is, but clearly whatever was running through this pipe exploded and these people are just getting rocketed off the island. Yeah, this is definitely giving the vibes of people in their greed and corruption desecrated the land with their machinations and led to the downfall of an entire, I guess for lack of a better description, an entire world. It may not exactly be a world, but it kind of has the vibes of one. It cost them the world as they knew it, at least. And now I imagine many of these people lay dead. It's a sad story, and yet it feels painfully potentially repeatable just looking at the current state of the world, I suppose. But I'll leave it at that comment. No need to get super depressing at this point in a series that, frankly, Kiwi is the only one who's going to be watching. We're here for chill vibes and fun. We don't need to drag ourselves down. But I don't know. I do find it interesting that several of these trees appear chopped down, but it looks almost fresh. I wonder how far out in terms of time has this world had its fall. Anyway, we're making it back to the settlement, so what I'll do here is, once I figure out where I need to go to make a right here, there it is. Once we make it back to the settlement, we'll call it an episode, okay, Kiwi? So I guess I'll do my outro now. Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're sleeping, I hope you're sleeping well. I love you, and I will see you. Oh, I just bounced off that, and down we go. No, 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 no. Kiwi, I love you, and I will see you in the next one for some more Air the Memories of Old. It looks like we're starting to get the full picture of what might have happened here. But I think there's still plenty more to learn, and I'm looking forward to finding out what that more is. Until then, sleep well, and I'll see you in the next one.